the tyrant that we see buried with Albert at the end, is that one that fans, like, is that a breed that fans will know, or is it something specifically cooked up for the series?
It's not one of the kind of the iconic tyrants. It's not Nemesis, for example, but it is in the tyrant family. Let's just put it that way. I would just say it is an original tyrant for the show, but certainly shares a lot of DNA with some creatures from the games.
So your character has so many badass moments in this season, obviously, because he's Albert Wesker, but the most chilling actually ended up being the one taking place in the principal's office. Can you talk about that scene?
Well, that is a chilling scene. What was so interesting about that was a turn for the character. So the way he's portrayed, it'll be particularly interesting for people who don't know the games. So how he's portrayed when you first see him is this bumbling, nerdy, kind of almost on the spectrum, shy scientist who's a single father, who's trying really hard, who's not good at it. And suddenly you see him coming in to the principal's office in Billy's school, having to defend her against not only this girl who's been bullying her, but by her father, who's also bullying, and seeing him turn into this vicious psychopath who's a master at psychological warfare. It's just fun.
So when we did our preview, the one thing that you kept close to the vest was Wesker and how he survived. So now that we have all those details, what was most important to you when it came to those different clones?
When it came to different clones was, again, Albert Wesker is a very specific character in the games. Let's just put it that way. He's a bad guy, right? And if you know his story, you kind of know how he became a bad guy. He certainly didn't come from like a happy, loving home. So if you're creating a clone of yourself, your clone doesn't share your experience. It may share your DNA, it doesn't share your experiences, right? So, and the clone itself has free will. So it looks and it's like, my dad is this bad guy. I'm a clone of a bad guy. Does that make me a bad guy? And I think our different clones react to that in different ways. And then I think you can look at the different aspects of Albert as different aspects of Wesker himself, because Wesker is not a monolithic character. Even in the games, I would argue he's not a monolithic character. And here you see kind of different expressions of that. Now that, you see some that are a bit more businesslike, like the Albert character. You see some that are a bit more kind of fun-loving, but, still pretty violent in the case of Bert. And so it was just kind of fun to play with that. And then we got really lucky in having an actor like Lance who could do it all.
So we know what goes on the warning label.
We don't see Evelyn get on the helicopter, but we also don't see Evelyn not get on the helicopter at the end. Do you think she's a goner? And if she is a goner, what does that power struggle look like for you?
So that was my first question. I went to the producers and I'm like, am I gonna have a job next season? Because we don't see it. They don't know. So I guess they were like, let's see what happens with Evelyn. If we like Paola, we'll give her a second season. Or if we don't, then we are gonna get rid of Evelyn. So there you go.
How can you not love her? I mean,
Obviously.
Billions will die.
The great thing about season 2 is with season 1, we were like, okay, we're going to establish our world, we're going to establish the characters. But really by the end of season 1, while we've done a lot of stuff, we're really on the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Resident Evil and the monsters and the lore. And we've presented what I would call like Resident Evil 101. You know what I mean? Here's some zombies, here's some hybrids. If you know the games, things just get crazier from there, whether it's monsters or antagonists or organizations that are coming in. So again, the idea is over the course of hopefully season 2 and maybe even beyond, they're going to start folding some of that stuff in and taking these characters on this kind of crazy journey through Umbrella Land.
Given the events of the last 2 episodes of season 1, do you ever think there's a future where Jade forgives or at least understands her dad a little bit better?
She is in that incredible scene with Adeline Rudolph, who plays older Billy, is confronted with who she is. And I think she has gone her entire life running away from that truth, trying to solve other problems, trying to, raise a family without confronting things that she's done in the past. And I think there is definitely a lot of scope for her to realize how much of her father's behavior influenced hers, but also how a lot of her actions in the past influenced her father's.
So what do you hope to highlight in season 2 so far as like different subsets of civilizations go?
Yeah, I think in season 2, what we're going to do is we're going to get the opportunity to explore what Umbrella itself has become. Because Umbrella is no longer, as you can tell from the show, is no longer just like a Pfizer-type pharmaceutical company. Umbrella is essentially a superpower, is a world power. And what does that look like in this post-apocalyptic world? You know what I mean? And so we'll get the opportunity to kind of go to Umbrella territory, which we talk about in the show. But actually, would in a perfect world, we get to go there in season 2 and see that. We also get to see a little bit more of what makes the world the world, in terms of why people are fighting so hard to survive.
Connor, you got one heck of a shocking death scene.
I did.
Did you know that was happening to your character coming in? Did you get surprised with it towards the end?
You know, it was actually crazy. Siena was the one to tell me about it because I actually rocked up in South Africa and I hadn't had the script yet. And I asked her, I just said, so what happens? What happens to him? She's like, you don't want to know. And I'm like, no, just tell me. She's like, you die. And I'm like, oh, how do I die? She's like, your mum shoots you. And I'm like, oh, no. I mean, what a great way to go, though. Well, not, I guess not to go, but for people to watch. How exciting.
Billy and Jade think their dad is dead at the end of this season. Do you think that they'll take to Bert, or do you think that they're going to escape Bert as quickly as humanly possible?
It is going to be so interesting. We've all created our own little theories of what happens. I would hope that we attach to Bert.
Yeah, I hope we're not that bad.
I don't think we're that bad. I would hope.
We do ditch him, though.
We do ditch him.
So maybe we are that bad, honestly.
We'll see. We want to keep Lance in the scene.
Yeah, we're keeping Lance on. That's what we do. If it has to be Bert, so be it. But I love Bert. I think he's so cute. He reminds me of just kind of like a child, but also like a grown man who's just a sweet man. You know what I mean? Someone's a sweet man. I want to see scenes where we're like trying to make him more human. Like be nice to people and like not punch them in the face if they make you angry.
I think it's exactly the person that Billy and Jade need, though, with all the trauma.
Definitely.
We have a problem. The drug contains the T virus. The T virus can make monsters.
Billions will die.
Everyone keep your mouth shut.